I'd like to welcome all the early individuals that joined us today. We're expecting well over 100 people to join us on the webinar. So we will get started right on time at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. So everyone just sit tight for a couple more minutes and we will be underway. Again, as a reminder to those of you that are joining us, we will get started right on time here in a couple of minutes. So just sit tight and we'll be underway shortly. Okay, everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Joel Hoff. I'm the Director of Research, Education, and Consulting for Unique Venues. We're really glad that everybody has joined us today. I'm sure we'll get a few more that are joining as we get underway here. A couple of quick housekeeping notes for you. This is a webinar, so all the participants are on mute, but you are able to interact with us via the chat function if you need to do that, or through the Q&A. If you look at the bottom of the Zoom screen, you'll see a button for Q&A. If you open that, you'll be able to submit questions for Chuck during the presentation. Other participants can upvote or downvote those questions so that we can help prioritize them in terms of how we get them answered. We're, again, hoping for a very healthy exchange here, and I will kind of moderate those questions. If I can answer some of them directly, I will. If not, Chuck will take breaks at various places in the presentation so we can get your questions answered. We will run for an hour today, and this session is being recorded, so you can always come back and visit it later. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Chuck Salem so that he can go ahead and get us started.
Thanks, Joel. I really appreciate everybody joining us today. The numbers keep going up. I'm trying not to pay attention to it, but I think right now we have 108 people signed in. We have close to 180 people, I believe, who actually signed up for this session. And I just want to remind everybody that session one was recorded, and that it is in everybody's Unique Venues dashboard area, member dashboard area, under Unique Venues webinars, UV webinars. But we've also added it to the resources page at uniquevenues.com/resources. So there is a direct link right on that page where we have all of the different webinars listed, as well as some other resources for you at this time. So all you have to do is click through that and you'll be able to hear part one. I want to start by saying it's a really different time than it was just a month ago when we did part one of this series. We were all in a very different place. We were all looking forward to all of the meetings, events, conferences special events, parties, weddings, whatever it is that we had booked or that we had planned. And that, a lot of people were preparing for a very busy summer of events, and then COVID-19 hit and everything changed very quickly. It was interesting because I was actually at the special event and Cater Source show in Las Vegas when everything started to kind of happen, and all of the developments were happening at that time. And it was a really interesting place to be, but just to kind of get the perspective from both planners and venues alike. But we're all going to get through this. And so when I was putting together part two, well, I stayed essentially on the path that I had intentioned at the very beginning when we put together this two-part series. I felt like it was necessary to do some adapting to the presentation as well, because I think right now there's certain things that we can be doing as salespeople in this current time right here, right now, that can help us with our sales in the future. And then there's some things that we can plan to do once we get through this crisis period. So I'm going to try to approach today's session from that perspective. But the one thing I want to make sure that I say to everyone right now is that regardless of how you feel about sales and the future behind the scenes, we kind of have to take the Disney World approach with this right now. And I don't know if you know this, but Disney World has an entire system of underground tunnels. And in the underground tunnels, all of the characters and all of the employees of Disney World get to be who they are and how they feel when they're not out in front of the customers of the park. So if they're frustrated, if they're having an angry call with their child who doesn't want to do their homework or whatever, that's their safe place to do it. But when they're out there and they're with the people who have paid money to come into the park, then they've got to go out there and be confident and entertain and show their best. And so I think right now we all can go through a little bit of a period where we're feeling a little bit of apprehension. It's like, well, how do I sell? What do I sell? I don't know what the future holds. Nobody knows day to day what's happening and what's going on. None of us have a crystal ball. And so because of that, it's okay to feel trepidation. It's okay to feel hesitation within yourself. But whenever you're communicating who you are as a product and what you can be for a meeting group, an event group, for a planner, for a bride and groom, or groom and groom, or bride and bride, or whoever to be, that we are showing them that we're confident and that we have vision for them beyond what's happening. Okay, so that's one of the things that I really encourage you to do right now, because it really is a different time for all of us. I'm not going to go through session one. I think that the session recording will stand on its own for you. But there's a part of it that I feel really, is important to reiterate. And that is because right now, more than ever, your online presence matters. How you communicate who you are as a product from an online standpoint means more today than I can ever imagine prior to this crisis. And the reason for that is that this is the time where a lot of people are online looking at things. People aren't necessarily talking so much. A lot of people are working remotely. Some people don't even have quite all of the resources to be communicating with people. But what I do know is that you can look at traffic and see that we can look at traffic and see that traffic is solid. People are looking. And so for you, they're probably looking at you too. And so it's really important right now, and especially in a time when maybe I'm making an assumption and I don't mean to, but I'm going to think that right now, if you're like the folks on my team at Unique Venues, is that you have some time right now to be proactive when it comes to marketing and sales as opposed to reactive to marketing and sales. And so one of those proactive things you can do is really paying attention to your website. I'm not talking about a website redesign. I'm talking about going into the back of the house and cleaning up the website and portraying yourself and communicating who you are to your audience in a way that is really relevant for this time, for this place that we are right now in our industry. So now more than ever, our online presence matters. I pulled up some statistics that I think accentuates this even in the best of times. And I would have to believe that the statistics that I'm sharing with you right now most likely are higher. I can make that assumption, I think, or the hypothesis that these percentages might be even higher. But in the best of times, currently, 89% of business-to-business researchers, people who are looking for whatever it is they want to buy online, in our case, meeting and event venues, booking parties and conferences and special events at our venues, 89% of them are using the internet to do that research. That is their number one tool. And so if you put on your consumer hat and you recognize and understand how you look at a website, what's important to you, then you can help to translate that to your own venue website. That we want to give people as much information as possible to make a decision about you. And again, I have to keep going back to the time we're in now. Right now, people are looking to rest assured that you're in a good place as a venue, that they can count on you in the future, that you're going to be back in business and that you're going to be welcoming groups. And those are the things that they're looking for right now. They want to know about you. There's probably more of a need for an emotive connectedness to people through your website now than there ever has been that I can remember. Business-to-business researchers are using Google throughout the process. So on average, researchers are doing 12 searches prior to engaging on a specific brand site. And so you can bet that there's lots of searches happening. Now, we can actually translate this, almost all of you are on Unique Venues, is that, people are looking at tons of options on Unique Venues. You can see the number of profiles that people are looking at. And so because people have more time right now, they're taking the time to look deeper at things. Again, they're more proactively planning rather than reactively planning. There's nothing to react to right now, except for what they have to maybe rebook and reschedule. And so they're really taking time to look at things. And so knowing that people are doing all of these searches, you want to be able to provide them the most information you can. And Google is, again, 73% of the searches are coming from search engines, not going directly to your page. They're actually doing search through a search engine, and most of them are using Google, and many of them are not going past the first page of the search results. So that's a really important thing to understand. Many of you are on the Unique Venues website and you show up on the first page of search results and key searches. But when people click through to your landing page for Unique Venues, you want to make sure that the information you're presenting about your venue, not only on your own website, but on your Unique Venues profile, is engaging and information that people want to see. All right, moving on. Next, 70% of business-to-business purchase decisions include at least two decision makers. And again, while people are not sitting in the office, they're not sitting around the board table, just like we are today. People are highly connected digitally these days. There are lots of ways for people to connect virtually. Because they're doing it, they're having virtual discussions about where they are going to meet and gather when the opportunities open back up for booking. And so it's really important to understand that while 70% have at least two decision makers who are talking about what venue they're going to meet at, and almost 30% include up to 5 decision makers as to where they're going to go ahead and engage for a meeting or an event venue. So very few people are making those decisions in a vacuum on their own. I think about unique venues and our own unique venues annual marketing conference that we have. One person starts the process and then that unfolds into, then you talk to, another person. And then the next thing you know, we've got 4 or 5 people who are making the decision about which site exactly we're going to be at for UVAMC. So it is definitely a collective discussion. And so that's important to know. You want to make sure you make information easy to find. 70% of consumers say that's the most important factor is your usability and the ease for finding what people need on your website. So you want to make sure, one of the things that I recognize is that we're a collection of non-traditional venues. And one of the things that means is that for at least 85% of you, you are not the primary focus of your website. So maybe you're a restaurant that also has private dining. So because you're a restaurant that also has private dining, your main website is all about the restaurant, but you do have a landing page about private dining. Is it findable? Is it easy to get to? And when people get to it, is it easy to understand? And does it tell them the things they need to know in order to make a decision about considering your restaurant or your dining location? Maybe you're a college or university campus that welcomes groups. We have some venues that will welcome groups up to 25,000 people overnight for extended periods of time. The question is, can they find you on that university's website, or is it difficult even when they go to do a search in the search, the advanced search on the university's website, and you type in conference services or conferences and events? A lot of times you're going to get a list of conferences and events that are hosted or provided by other faculty members at the university and not necessarily your site. So making sure you're easily findable on your site. And then finally, 81% of non-C-suiters, C-suiters being executives, have a say in the purchase decision. More and more people are being empowered to make these decisions. So you want to make sure that you're reaching the right publics with your message on your site. So I see we have some questions, Joel. Before I go on, are there any that we should attend to right now?
There we go, got to get unmuted. At the moment, we're just, we had a question about cancellation policies. We have a few members that are chiming in to answer how they're handling it. So I don't think we have an open question right now that you need to answer for us, but thanks for checking in, and we'll check at the next break.
Excellent. And I am going to make some statements in a general sense about cancellation policies in just a moment here. All right. Now, I've given you some statistics. I've kind of done the preaching about making sure you have a good website, but now we're going to dig into some really specific things. I think one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves from a sales and marketing perspective is to communicate what I call our FABs. I always tell people we have to be fabulous. FAB means features, advantages, and benefits. What we say about who we are as a product and how we communicate that to people, how we wrap that up in both rational statements and emotional appeal helps to differentiate us from the rest of the pack out there. This is your opportunity to really communicate at a really special and unique time who you are as a product and how you take care of your clients. So a FAB is features, advantages, and benefits. A feature is the what. It's your product and what you offer. And your advantages are by somebody using your venue, what's that going to enable them to do? And your benefits are, if they choose to use you and all of these advantages that are available to them, how do they benefit at the end of that? And we're going to go deeper into that right now. So what I did was I took the opportunity to make up a fake venue. I call it the Salem Conference Center just because it was easy. And I've banded this into three sections. Yellow will be the features, blue will be the advantages, and the pink is the benefits. So I want to break this down, and I want to get you all thinking in a way that you're able in a time like this to start to bullet dot out and then build upon your features, advantages, and benefits, because I think now more than ever is a great opportunity for you to communicate to people who you are as a venue product, as an offering in a really crowded marketplace. I'm going to tell you this, so many venues don't do this, that if you just take the time to do this right there, you are going to have a major advantage in the marketplace. So please, I encourage you, I will not waste your time with giving you any advice today that I don't think will benefit you. Please, I hope you'll heed my advice that you take the time to build a features, advantages, and benefit statements, because this should be the foundation for everything else you do from this point forward. Now, the bad news is that we have to even consider this right now, but the good news is that you can change your features, advantages, and benefit statement. This is not your mission statement. This is not your, credo that you have to live by and you have to print and put all over the place. This is a features, advantages, and benefit statement for right now, for these times, and you can restyle this down the road when we're over it. But feature, advantage, and benefit statement. The Salem Conference Center offers 10 meeting and event spaces for groups of 20 to 200 year-round. We specialize in hosting nonprofit and community-centered service organizations. Located in Northern Virginia, the center is located 20 to 45 minutes from all three DC area airports, Amtrak stations, and the Metro Orange Line. We are on the I-495 Beltway near the intersection with I-66, two of the most traveled roadways in the region. Those are all features. That is very black and white information. How many spaces I have to offer, who it is we serve, where it is we're located, how it is you can access us. This is all really important information, because no matter how much of an advantage or a benefit you might be to them, if you're not accessible to them, if you're not a relevant product for them, then it doesn't matter. So this is why we start with your features. So I encourage you to think about what are your features that you can communicate at the very beginning on your website, and every piece of information that you send out to people and every attachment, so that they understand and know that there's a potential connectivity between who you are as a product and what it is that they need for a meeting or event space. So that's the first thing. So, and remember, your feature statement could be right in line with 20 other venues. So right now you're not so different. You might be different than some because maybe some people need 10 meeting and event spaces. Some people only need one. So you've got some differentiators in there, but really there could be a lot of venues who meet their needs right now just in the features section, right? But now we're going to build on the case of why you are more advantageous for them to use. So I go into the second part of the statement. Our team of meeting and event experts will work with you to plan every detail of your gathering. Your goals become our goals as we partner with you to create a memorable and successful event. You know your desired outcomes, and we know all the ways we can help you achieve them. We understand as a nonprofit organization that you must stretch your dollars as far as they can go and beyond. Our catering team can provide an outstanding menu for every budget. We've negotiated nonprofit rates with our hotel partners, offering groups with choices of nearly 700 rooms, all with complimentary transportation to the Salem Conference Center. And we know all the ways to be high-tech in your meetings without breaking the bank. Everything there is an advantage for them. First sentence, I talk about the fact that we have experts. We have people who will help them to plan their gathering. People need and want to be led in their planning. They don't want to work with a venue that says, I don't know, what do you want? I don't know, what do you need? You say, we offer this, and this could be really great for you based upon your goals. You've even accentuated that. I've accentuated that with saying, I understand. I'm going to sit down with you. I'm going to listen to what your goals are for your, at the end result. Like, I'm going to ask you this question. When this whole event is over, whether it's a wedding or a conference or convention for 5,000 people, when this is all over, what is going to help you to sit back and say, total success? And then what are those things that are going to make you say it was a total success that my team and I can help drive you to achieve? I'm telling you that we'll work with you to do that. We understand as a nonprofit organization that you must stretch your dollars as far as they can go and beyond. I understand you as a product. I know what it means to be a nonprofit. I understand the people that we work for, and we're going to work with you. So so you know, we've got affordable, budget-conscious menus. We've already negotiated nonprofit rates on your behalf with partner hotels. And they have complimentary transportation because we know you're nonprofit, and the last thing you want to do is have to dip into your registration funds to have people have to pay for transportation. And high tech, we can provide you with high tech solutions without having to bring some kind of very expensive outsourced audiovisual tech company in. So I've really outlined some advantages for them that we can provide. Okay. You need to do the same thing. I think this is where you start to become different, because I guarantee you there's a lot of people that can say they have 10 meeting and event spaces for groups of 20 to 200 year round. But I guarantee you that if there's 100 of those that can say that, there's maybe 5 that might be able to say what you're saying in this blue section. And there you start to capture the attention of the potential client. Okay. Now, I have to tell you, I just believe in being genuine too. So your advantages have to be things that you have a passion for. People can tell when it's a pitch, and people can tell when it's passion. And you want to make sure that it's genuine and it's passion that you're portraying out there. Those were a lot of P's there. The pink section, this is where you really tell them the benefit. This is, to me, the ultimate final statement. This is your close. We invite you to book your event with us. We promise that from the time you begin the process of planning until the last guest departs, we will be by your side to carry the load as much as possible so that you can concentrate on details like program content, celebration plans, and more. Think of us like your caddy in your very own Masters, or your guide as you climb the Mount Everest of gatherings. There's a visual there, right? There is no one who can ever win the Masters without a really great caddy guiding them along the way. There is no one who can climb Mount Everest without somebody who's really going to carry the load, okay? If they have to do both the climbing and the carrying of the load, they're going to get exhausted and they're not going to be successful. You are portraying through imagery who you are to these people. And so you want to make sure that you do that. There's one word in there that to me is a word that you shouldn't use unless you're willing to live by it. And that's, we promise. From the time you begin the process of planning until the last guest departs, we will be by your side. We promise. Okay? So you want to make sure that you make commitments that you can keep. So one of the things I really encourage you to do in a time when you may have some proactive planning time is, I encourage you to get out there and write your Fab Statement. And feel free, you're going to have this recording is going to be on our resources page. You can go back to reflecting on this page and using it as a guide for how you might portray your product to potential users. Okay. Joel, anything before I move on?
Nope, there are no open questions at this point.
All right, excellent, thank you. All right, now I'm going back to my very kitschy, layout here. So before all of this happened with COVID-19, I was all about doing a farm-based theme. Which is kind of funny because the truth of the matter is, for those of you who know me, I actually was never on a farm in my entire life until I married someone who grew up on a farm. And that was only a few years ago when I went to my first farm. And it was like I was on my first grade field trip. I was like, wow, look at this. So I was thinking about the parallels to farming and growing things, and to the best of my knowledge. So you may laugh, anybody who grew up on a farm, when you do this, but in the first part, we went through a lot of things about sowing your seeds and cultivating the land and all of this. And so now we're focusing on sowing leads in part 2. I had a whole set of slides, which we're going to get to, but I decided to add in 1 or 2 slides about some things you can do right now to sow leads that you're currently getting or that you have in your database, a customer relations management system, whether it's Salesforce and Sitely, we use Free Agent, whatever company you use, or maybe it's an Excel spreadsheet, or maybe it's a notebook. Who knows what it is that you're using? But somewhere you have a list of people you've served, people you were planning to serve before this happened, people you can serve in the future, people who maybe pick someone else over you or whatever. But there are things that you can do right now to appeal to this audience. And one of the things I encourage each one of you to do is make a personal video. Pick one person on your team to be a spokesperson for your venue when it comes to meetings, conferences, and special events and gatherings. And write out a really short, genuine, honest script. What people want and need right now is some reassurance. They want to have confidence. You know, right now, everybody, listen, we're all wondering, like, what's going to happen? You know, what's our business going to look like on the other side of this? There will be another side of this. There is going to be an end to this. We're not, but when we get there, what do we all look like? What's our industry look like? What's your business model look like? Do you do things different now? But what people want to know is that regardless of whatever kind of adaptation you make to who you are as a product and how you'll do your business, that you will be there for them to do business. And when they come, you're going to be ready for them. So I really encourage you, because right now in a time when we all feel really, really disconnected from one another, because we're such a human interaction, like, get out there. I mean, for as much as we all sit there like this when we're all together doing all of these things, the truth is we miss sitting all around the table, not looking at each other and talking to each other. We miss that. We do. And so make a connection, make a human connection with people. That's why I'm on video right now. I have to be honest, when I did the first one, I don't think I was on video. I think it was just my screen, and I took my camera off, but I'm going to stay because you can see I use my hands and my arms are flailing around a lot. But I think there's a really nice thing about having a personal connection. So here's what I would do with my personal video. If I managed a venue, I'd make a video that says something like, hi, I'm Chuck Salem, and I'm the general manager of the Salem Conference Center. And I know it's a tough time right now, but we're all going to get through this. And when we get through this, the team at the Salem Conference Center has been working hard with plans of how it is that we're going to welcome you back with open arms and open doors. We cannot wait to see you again. We miss you. And for all of the times when sometimes we sit there and say, oh my gosh, are we ever going to get a break? Oh my gosh, but it's so busy. I haven't had a day off in 2 weeks. I don't think there's anybody on our team who didn't wish for those times right now. And we can't wait until each and every day we get up and come into this place to serve you and all of the other conference and events and parties and people who want to come here and gather at the Salem Conference Center. We're ready. We're making plans for you, and we're going to have great things for you when you come. Just so you know, we have loosened our cancellation and attrition clauses for you. We know that there's uncertainty. And while we can't loosen all the cancellation and attrition clauses for everything, when it comes to this virus, this particular situation, we are able to offer flexibility. So don't be afraid. Go ahead and book. We are going to get to another side of this, and it's best to get on the books now while you can. Again, we've got some flexibility to work with you on the cancellation and attrition clauses. We've got some great reopening specials. So watch your emails for those. We'll be sending those out to all of you. And remember, our books are open for the next 5 years. So you can plan with confidence. Months from now, years from now, we're ready for you. So let us know what we can do. So I didn't rehearse that. To be honest, I just threw that out there just now, right now. But that gives you a gist. I used this bullet dot list that I have that you're going to have when you get this recording, but you want to let them know that you're there for them. You want to send that message of confidence. You want to communicate that you've loosened your clauses, your attrition clauses and cancellation. You want to let them know that you're working for them to provide them with some solutions proactively rather than saying, how can I help you? You can say, here's what we're doing. And I have some ideas, by the way, that we're going to go over, and really encourage them to go for the long run. You know what? I'll tell you what I want to know right now as a business owner. And I might not be a venue, but I market venues. And my job is to stay viable for you. And so I'm encouraging people. We've been talking to planners all day long. We have people on the phone. We have 71,000 planners who are in our network. We will never make all of those calls, but our team is on the phone talking to people, saying, how can we help you? What can we do? Let's get some leads out there. I want to say that we got 8 RFPs today or something like that. So, we're out there and we're working it. We're not sitting back waiting for a miracle, because that's not how this works. That's not how business works. You got to get out there. I did a video for planners. It's on the homepage of Unique Venues. I said to planners, we're going to get through this. Here's what we're going to do for you. We've put together webinars for planners. We have a whole thing. You need to do those same things. So, and then, if you're wondering where can you get your video out there, you're all members of Unique Venues and all of you can have videos on your profile. So upload it, go into your dashboard. It does not have to be fancy. People want genuine. That's what's real right now. This is real. This is real. This is not, this is not a $10,000 highly produced video. This is you looking into an iPhone and saying, this is who we are and we're here for you. That's the message that people want to hear. So that's something you can do right now. Okay. Joel, before I move on, checking in.
No, we're doing great.
Okay. Other things you can do right now. So one of the things that's not happening quite as much is junk email. I don't know if you've noticed that, but even the most insensitive of spammers out there have become a little bit more sensitive right now, because they're thinking, maybe you're experiencing something different, but I'm not. This is one of the silver linings, if there is such a thing, as I just am not getting as much junk mail as I used to get. I think people like a connective email. I sent one out yesterday and it was genuine. I mean, all I can possibly ever do is I can't be anything but genuine. Sometimes that gets me in trouble because sometimes I'm a little bit too upfront or a little bit too direct, but I communicated to a lot of people via email yesterday and people appreciated that. You were my customers. I communicated by email to you and it was effective. Do the same for your customers. They want to hear from you. They value you. If you take care of them, they want taken care of right now. That's what we have to be for people right now. We don't have to worry about us being taken care of. We have to do our jobs to take care of. That's what we're here for. So I suggest doing some emails out to your clients. And ask them how you can help them right now. That's what they want to know. Is there anything I can do for you right now? I know that don't write it in a way that I'm like, I certainly was not going to write an email to people yesterday say, how can I help you right now? Can we upgrade your profile? No, I'm not going to ask that because that's not the kind of help people need right now. What I'm saying is there anything we can do for you? Can we help you? Can we answer any questions? Is there anything you need to hear from us that we could provide for you? Can we post some, post-pandemic specials on news and events and specials because it's part of your services? Lending a hand proactively and reaching out to people is really good. And here's where I think karma, I don't know, I want to believe karma is real. If you're sitting there saying, I'm going to write to these people with the hope they book business, it's probably not. But if you do it with a genuineness, that comes across. really do it with the spirit of wanting to help people. Help provide action steps for them. I provide a link to my calendar saying, hey, if you want to talk, let's talk. Some people have written back to me from the email and I said, you know what? We're always so busy that we never have a chance just to chat. And I haven't seen you in person for 2 years. So here's a link to my calendar. Let's just catch up face to face and say hi. I want to know how you're doing. Doing those things with people you have relationships with or you're trying to build relationships with means a lot. Even just reaching out to them saying, how are the kids? Are you working from home? Are they learning from home? Is there any way we can help you balance the load? Doing those things. Send them brochures. I mean, I told people we've got a great new magazine or new digitals out there, and it's really hard to read these things. So maybe you're able to take some time now and absorb what's in this magazine. So take some time. Hopefully they'll provide some inspiration for how to plan and where to plan and the types of venues to use in the future. So anything you can do proactively to email and reach out to people just to let them know you're there if they need you and you're ready when they're ready goes a very long way. Okay? All right. Other things you can do right now, make sure you track actions, follow up, messages of reassurance. People are going to write back to you. You're going to get a message back. Not everybody. If you send out 200 personal emails to people and you get 20 responses back, sometimes you're going to hear things that will be hard to hear. Things like, we're really worried. We're not sure we're going to make it through this. We're not sure we're going to be able to stay open. We're not sure we're going to have the funds for our association to go. You're going to hear stuff like that. You're going to hear great things too, like we're ready and we're already planning and we'll give you a call, but you're going to hear some negative messages. And those are not messages that you ignore. Those are not messages that you don't respond to. In fact, more than ever, you have to respond to them. I will look at every single message I receive to people and I will prioritize them by what I think people need to hear. And right now, people want to hear reassurance. You say, I know it's tough right now. Maybe there's a way we can help you to make things easier for you for planning. Maybe, here's the one thing we all know about when it comes to being unique is that 90% of us are far more affordable than the other traditional venues and the big corporate companies and big, large chain hotels and all of those things, that we tend to offer some more affordable options. And I think letting people know that you're going to remain a great affordable option for them in a time when budgets will be tight is a good message. They need to feel in control. So make sure they feel in control in the messages that you send out right now. Thank them just for being a client. If nothing else, just thank you for being along our side. We're glad to have you with us. And give them some next steps. Now let's talk about things you can do 3 to 6 months from now, because we are going to get through this. I mean, anyone who, if you read and you look back in history, there is nothing that we have never been able to get through. In my lifetime, I have been through so many various, crises globally and in this country and in the US and Canada combined. And each time we've had to adapt, and each time we've had to do business a little bit differently, but each time we did business and it picked back up. And I don't want to be Pollyanna about anything. And I am not making any promises to anyone. I'm just simply, based upon great conversations we've had with all of our advisors from a business standpoint, is that this is a very different crisis than we've all faced. And that, if you think about 9/11, our industry was hurt, and it was hurt long-term. People were afraid to fly for a very long time. There were very different circumstances. I think as soon as we get the all clear to gather again, people are going to start to do it as much as they possibly can from both a financial and human potential standpoint. So it's important for you to be ready for the next 3 to 6 months. I know for a fact that the vast majority of our venues do not do what I'm about to say. And I get that it's 2020 and things are a little bit different, but yep, things are a little bit different. I really encourage you to get out there and do some face-to-face sales when this is over. Making that connection again with people is a very powerful statement. You're not business as usual. And I'm going to give you a perfect example. I got an email from a very large venue, not far from me. And we were in a process of doing some work with them. And they have a new vice president of marketing and sales who started. And when I sent out my messages yesterday, their boss wrote to me, their supervisor wrote to me, but then this person also wrote to me and said, I'm the new, thank you for this message. I'm the new vice president for sales and marketing. And, you know, give me a call. We can chat sometime. And I wrote back and I said, I suggest you and I be a little bit more bold. Let's have confidence. And how about we have lunch together the first week of May? Let's put something on our calendar. The worst thing that happens is we have to push it back. But let's have lunch together. And he wrote back and he said, I love it. Let's be bold together. Let's do it. I love it. Let's do it. And we now have lunch scheduled. So, you know, we're going to do a face-to-face appointment. I think going out there and doing face-to-face sales is really good. I wouldn't do cold calls. I would instead call people and say, I'd love to just come visit you. You know, it's been a really strange time. I think it'd be really nice for us to get together and talk a little bit. Let's learn a little bit about what you're looking to accomplish with your meetings and events in the future and what we're doing, not only in light of this crisis, but our great plans for the future and some of our cool new innovations that we've developed, and let's talk about them. Do your homework. Look up those groups. Look up and see what kinds of meetings and events they have on their website. Read about their meetings and events. You can go to any organization, any association or corporation. They're going to have an events page, and go and take a look and see what it is that people are doing right now, and be prepared. And when you sit down with them from a point of knowledge and say, hey, you know, I was looking on your website and I see that you have quarterly regional meetings where you bring groups of about 100 people together. And I noticed you did it here and here, and we'd love to work with you on that. We would love to host people here. How can we work together on something like that? What can we do? So do as much as reconnaissance as you can. Right now, again, unless I'm fooled by this current situation, you have the time right now to go in and understand as much as you can about your potential and current clients and future clients as you can right now. And you can go in and make notes, even if it's just in a notebook, but hopefully it's in at least an Excel spreadsheet. You want to demonstrate the power of connectedness. You always want to be natural, but you want to be structured when you go and have these face-to-face meetings with people. You want to be confident when you meet with them. You want to be nimble, have resources. People are looking for incentives right now. We are such a value-oriented society. Value simply means the perception that you're getting more than what you paid for. You want to be very value-oriented when you approach people. You want to provide swag because people do like it. Give them something that they can keep on their desk to remind them of you. Invite them for a visit. We'd love to have you for lunch. Maybe even put together a great tasting of some new menu items that you invite. You know, we're inviting 10 planners. We'd love to have you come join us around the table to taste some of our new menu offerings. And make a plan to follow up with them. Don't leave it hanging out there, but make a plan. Fam tours. I know, excuse me, it's so weird. Everybody's afraid to cough in these days, but I've been talking too much. Fam tours are old school, right? That's where you invite people in to become familiar with your venue. So you invite them on site to give you a try. I think now's a great time to be thinking about putting together a post. Once we get through this FAM tour, people will want to get out of the office. People are going to want to experience things. We miss experiencing everything. We miss it. And so this is a great time because they are going to, for the most part, people are going to be caught up. So now is a great time to bring them out and have them see your venue and experience it. Some other ideas you might do: put together a meet and greet with community users and leaders. Invite the local population. If you do local business, invite them in. Just like, we're open. We're having an open house. We're welcoming our community back. People will remember that. You put your best foot forward. You bring community leaders in. You make a big deal of the fact that things are open again, and invite people in for that. Offer experiences for clients and potential clients. I always like to share my favorite, the experience that when I don't know, some of you only know me from Unique Venues, but I actually used to run a venue. And I learned when I ran that venue that I had a couple differentiating points that set me apart. One was customer service. I think that making sure you have a passion for taking care of your customers always ensures that you will have a strong, viable business. But also, people like experiences. They want to feel like, I'm not just sitting in a box. I'm not just sitting in a ballroom with the same ugly carpet and the same ugly lighting that every ballroom has. I have some experience. So we had a theater, and one of the experiences that we provided to people was that we had a reverse performance. So what we did was we invited meeting and event planners that were touring our venue to have dinner on stage. So they were the focal point. But scattered throughout the seating in the theater were performers. And so the performers would pop up at the seat and would perform. Some would sing, some would play a violin, but people would perform from the seats for the planners who were actually on stage as the focus. And they loved kind of that reverse experience. So offering experiences for clients and potential clients to see how innovative you can be, not only that you have a great venue, but that you can help lead them to doing things that will make their conference event, special event memorable. Host showcase events. Again, things like try out our menu, come in and vote on our new entrees, our new whatever it may be, and industry events. If you're associated with your local MPI chapter or PCMA chapter or SGMP or all of these other, organizations, ILEA, offer to host it. And you know what? At times like this, offer to host it because budgets are low. You're going to probably win the business if you get some of your partners to host it with you and provide some of those experiences at no charge. It's good for them, it's good for you, and you're going to be showcasing to the industry events. Feed your leads. This is like the kind of dry, not so fun stuff, but you can be the best person at having great ideas, but if you're not good at follow-up, all those ideas are going to wither away and dissipate and get blown away and land on someone else's desk. What they'll end up doing is say, well, I was talking to this venue and they had this great idea, but I haven't heard from them, but can you do this great idea? That's what's going to happen. So you have to ferociously follow up. If you have a customer relations management system like a Salesforce or a Free Agent or Insightly or ClaritySoft or whatever it may be, make sure that you follow up. I will be honest with you, and I'm sure you feel the same way about leads you get from us and you feel like planners don't get back to you. But one of the biggest pieces of information we've heard from planners is that, well, I did send a lead out and it's for next year, but I haven't heard back from anybody. So if you've got leads in your queue, whether they're from Unique Venues or anyone else, just because we're in a crisis right now, that only impacts your meetings right now. Get out there and follow up on all of your leads. Ask them what they need and see what kind of miracle grow they need. What do they need from an incentive standpoint to contract with you? Incentives are really big right now. Persistence is so important. Prior to this crisis, 5 touches before booking a new piece of business is typically what it took. It's going to be a little bit more now. Okay. The biggest thing I can tell you, and some of you have heard me say this before, and I'm going to say this, these might be the very last words that come out of my mouth before I retire. Before I retire several years from now, you can't get rid of me that quick, but before I retire, I'll probably look at everybody and say these words. The last thing I want to say to everybody who does business with unique venues is that hot leads have short lives. Always remember that. Soon as people find what they're looking for these days, they move on. We're hypertaskers. We're like juggling 1,000 different things all the time in our culture these days. And so if there are 5 venues vying for my lead and somebody jumps right on it and they offer me a great opportunity that I can't pass up, you're not going to hear from me. I don't know you that. I mean, from a cultural, like, be nice, they do owe you, like, thanks, I've moved on. And I'd like to say that's who we are as people, but we're not like that, really. You know, we're like the woman I saw today in the grocery store parking lot who all I could do was shake my head when she just took the cart and pushed it across the parking lot. And so it ran into the wall. I mean, it's like, I'm done, I'm moving on. You know, that's what people do these days. And so you may not hear from people, but hot leads have short lives. And if you jump on the communication process and you start to let them know that you've got great opportunities for them to meet with you, it's going to be a great opportunity for you. Joel, did you want to say something?
Yeah, Chuck, we have a question from Kate that I would love for you to answer. The question is, what are some incentives that Unique Venues offers to their clients?
Well, actually, right now we're getting ready to send. So we have an incentive right now that we're getting ready to send out to people that if you pay your invoice, we're going to extend your membership. Pay your invoice in full. We're going to extend your membership for 2 free months during this time. We also provide incentives all of the time. We're getting ready to send out an incentive to planners who are also our customers. We are doing an incentive to get them to start sending leads for you through 2021. It may have gone out while we're here. We sent it to 44,000 planners today, offering them the opportunity. We gave them a link to an RFP form. Send us your leads through 2021 right now for us to process, and you will be in a drawing for a pack up and go weekend. So that's another incentive. We often have special offers, so it depends on the time. Right now, we're offering specials to people based upon this current time. We're doing specials for people to just get digital brochures done. We are working with a lot of clients who have taken advantage of that, who are saying, okay, I haven't been able to work on my marketing materials. Unique Venues develops digital brochures. They're offering me an incentive. And so I'm taking that incentive and we're providing discounting. Our biggest one that they're doing right now is 2 free months. Contract now, get set up, get established, get 14 months for the price of 12. And like I said, we're offering that to anyone who pays their invoice in full. So to kind of get them through this.
Great, thanks, Chuck. And just heads up, we've got about 5 minutes left. Okay,
great. Well, I want to get to nurture your garden, which is your garden are your loyal clients, people like you for us. So you want to make sure you develop all kinds of special offers for your returning clients. Some things you might want to do, rebook your event specials. So if they've had to cancel, offer some kind of incentive or discount for people to go ahead and rebook with you now by a certain date, get back on the books. Again, communicating your loyalty-based program, your loyalty-based attrition, loosened attrition and cancellation clauses. We're opening our bookings to you first. That's a really important incentive to provide to people, is that your schedules are going to get really busy. I know you may not believe this right now, but trust me, everybody we're talking to from an economical standpoint, whether it's our financial advisors, our accountants, business, industry professionals. This is a very unique, no pun intended, but a very unique crisis that we're in. And the way that we will rebound from this will be equally unparalleled. And so what's going to happen is there's going to be a rush. I mean, the thing that I keep telling my team is we got to get ready for the deluge, because there's going to be a deluge. I mean, you know, things are slow right now, but when this opens up, it's going to be crazy. And so, but what you could do is say to all of your loyal clients, our books are going to open, but we're writing to you first with the opportunity for us to pencil you in, and use that word, pencil you in. We're giving you first right of refusal on the dates. You're loyal. We enjoy doing work with you. In a sense, we owe it to you to be the first people to have the first opportunity to book. Incentivize multi-year contracts. I know you got thrown off for 2020, and I'm sure you're planning for 2021, and we can offer you some great incentives to rebook not only for 2020, but to book for 2021 and hold the price the same without any price increase for this year. Maybe provide incentives for referrals from other planners. If there were ever a time to develop an incentive-based program, maybe a points-based program, just like the airlines do, just like the hotels do, developing some kind of a frequent user program is an opportunity. Those are some of the things that you can do right now to nurture your loyal clients. And then, if nothing else, just saying, it's times like these that I am reminded at how much I appreciate you. Like, for me, I mean that. It's times like these that I am so appreciative that each and every day I jump out of bed ready to serve 1,100 really cool, unique spaces and 71,000 planners in a really cool industry and do something different. And I couldn't do it if it weren't for you. So saying that to your planners, how much you appreciate them with a true, genuine thankfulness right now, that goes a long way. People appreciate that at times like this. So last thing I want to say is weed your leads. It's that simple. Don't spend time with bad weeds. Don't spend time with people who don't get back to you, people that you keep calling. Don't keep going back to be ignored. Focus on that which provides livelihood for you, that which gives you life right now, that what gives you hope right now. So focus on the leads and not the weeds. Cultivate the best soil you can. Rotate your crops. In other words, don't get too focused just on one kind of client. Look at all different kinds of clients. Think about, here's a little interesting point. A lot of our venues always think, yeah, we're not really well suited for corporate. Well, you know what? After the economic decline of 2008, some of our most unlikely venues increased corporate business by over 30%. And it's because corporations are having a big financial hit right now, and they're going to still need to gather. But when they do, they're looking for affordable options. So if that's you, rotate your crops and don't be afraid to go after some types of business that before you hesitated to go after. Never plant something that won't thrive in the land. Use your right tools and machinery and check in on your crops. Okay. So I think it's 3:00. I did it. So go grow your business, everyone. I am so genuinely thankful for each and every one of you. We're going to be having a lot more webinars. Sign up for our industry experts panel that's coming up. Joel, is that on April 2nd? Believe, and everything's on our resources pages, and we even put in some personal development webinars for you, because you know what, right now you might just want to know how to go out and get some exercise in times like these. So we're here for you guys. We'll always be here for you. We appreciate you. So if there's anything we can do, don't hesitate to let anyone any one of our team members, don't hesitate to reach out to us. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.